Hey guys, Forbidden here, bringing you another audio commentary. In this one, I'm playing Blue Eye Tempo against Merfolk. Um, my opponent is pretty slow during this game. You'll notice a lot of times, he's not that slow, but he doesn't tell me that he's thinking, and so it's actually really frustrating. So I'll play a spell, and then he'll say like nothing for 10 seconds, and then he'll say okay, or he'll cast a response. And um, normally it's courtesy to say like thinking if you're thinking. So I mean that would be really nice if my opponent did that. Okay, so in this game, I know by now that I'm playing against Merfolk, and I don't have any creatures in my hand. So my goal is to use that swords to plowshares to snipe one of his lords, and then um, if I can keep him off of lords, then I'll have plenty of time. Merfolk are really small, have crappy abilities, and everything, unless they get like 2 or 3 lords into play. And so it means that in a lot of matchups, Merfolks will require a huge overextension in order to put up a clock. And then in this matchup, it means that as long as I can keep his lords off the table, then I end up with a pretty big advantage because he ends up with really lame creatures like this 1/1 Curse Catcher. Pings me for 1. Um, I mean, imagine like if that's a Mother of Runes or a Weather Wayfarer. It's a lot more threatening um, than like a 1/1. I mean, if he has 2 lords in play, you'd probably rather have a 1 mana for 3/3. But um, as long as I can keep his lords off the table, then I'm in really good shape. Okay, so in this situation, um, my goal. So after I see the play, my goal is to resolve the vial this turn. Next turn it'll be on 1 counter, and I'll hard cast a Sarah Avenger. And then 2 turns from now, Ether Vial will tick to 2 counters. I'll be able to Vial in the Stoneforge Mystic, and then assuming that I draw a 4th land, I'll be able to G-Equip immediately to a flying Sarah Avenger that's no longer Summoning Stick. So that should be game, and that should be fast enough to raise him, even if he drops Lord and then Lord. Um, so here I actually make a mistake. I make 2 mistakes in the lands that I fetch in this game, and they're actually pretty critical. Against Merfolk, you should really pay attention to what you're doing. So my greatest fear is that he plays Lord Wasteland. And so the Wasteland will prevent me from G-Quipping for a full another turn. And then with a Lord in play, he can actually race me. And then, with more experience in the Merfolk matchup, you can tell how fast Merfolk are. But I'm afraid he goes like Wasteland Lord, and then turn after that Lord, and then turn after that Lord, and then he wins. And so, when obviously I have the benefit. I actually remember this game. I played it a couple hours ago, so it's pretty fresh in my memory. But he actually has the Wasteland Lord play, and so that instantly moves me from the kind of offensive role where my goal is to resolve that Sarah Avenger Stoneforge Mystic G-Quip play. Now I have to play more defensively because the Wasteland's going to prevent me from doing that, at least for the next few turns. And so I want to force a will the Lord of Atlantis now to buy myself as much time as possible to set up. Instead of a fast G-Equip, I'm going to set up a slower, GT, and then later on equip it. Unfortunately, he has the Force of Will from my Force of Will. And so I guess it didn't really matter what I did in that case, but I'm going to take 2 from the Curse Catcher. And then the race is on. If he comes up with another Lord or 2 over the next 2 turns, I'll be in a lot of trouble. Anyway, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I should have grabbed the plains in that case so that I could fetch a plains with my Arid Mesa, and then I wouldn't have an island in play. And that's actually a good thing against Merfolk because they have the Lord of Atlantis. So when you're not going to use an island, you want to have, just basic plains out. And here I make another mistake. So, it's the right play to play the Sarah Avenger, but here I should fetch another Tundra. So that way, no matter what land I draw, I could resolve the Fathom Seer. In this case, I have to hope that I top deck into some type of island land in order to get the Fathom Seer active. And then worse, if I top deck a Wasteland, I could Wasteland myself, but then, that kind of blows because I could have just cast the Fathom Seer and then bounce the lands. So In this case, it was a really bad play to get the plains. I guess I wasn't paying attention to that. Um, Twice in a row, I fetched the wrong land. First, I fetched the tundra. I should have gotten the plains, and then I fetched the plains. I should have gotten the tundra. So here I've got a tundra I can't block. I take 6. Um, Add a counter to my ether vial. Okay, so there I top deck the flooded strand. That was pretty nice. So by top decking the flooded strand, it means um, I can cast the Fathom Seer, which allows me to bounce both the tundras back to my hand. So now I can block his Lord of Atlantis, um, which is pretty sick. This play actually happens a lot. To the point where you should really be cognizant of it, even if you're a Merfolk player or Blue Eye Temple player. This is a really important play, having 2 tundras and then bouncing it. So your goal is to get either 0 or 2 tundras out as long as you have a face down. And so it seems like my opponent doesn't know that what the face down is. I mean, even if he does, it's probably still the right play to swing. But here, so I've got the vial out. I ask him if it's okay. I'm about to put it in. And I mean, if you watch the clock, I ask him if it's okay at 6:20, 6:28, something like that. And then 20 seconds later, so he's not saying anything. Like, I don't know if he went AFK. I don't know if he went comatose or something. If the internet dropped out. So, all right. So there, 20, 25 seconds, 30 seconds later, he's stifling it. Stifle is definitely the right play in the situation, but it's still annoying that he didn't tell me earlier that he was thinking about it. So I was actually about to leave the game. I thought that he was, that he was just messing with me or something, or he knew that Fathom Seer was going to flip, and then with a violin I would kill all his guys, and so he left. But I don't know. Okay, so I still flip. Yeah, obviously, if I'm able to violin the Stoneforge Mystic, I double block the other Lord of Atlantis, and then he kills either the Stoneforge Mystic or the Fathom Seer. Probably kills the Fathom Seer, and then I'm left with Stoneforge Mystic against Curse Catcher, with GT in hand coming into play, and so that would have been really sick if he hadn't stifled the vial. But as it is, it doesn't really do me any good to block the Lord of Atlantis with the Fathom Seer just yet. Fortunately, I draw into Jotun Grunt, which gives me a big blocker. It could have been, actually there are a lot of spells, but and I had 3 draws to get one, but it's really important, as you'll see here. So I could block. So I blocked the 2/2 Curse Catcher with the 1/3 Fathom Seer, and then violent block the Lord of Atlantis with the Jotun Grunt. So that wipes his team, and then both my guys stay alive. I think my opponent's a little bit stuck on land, but so obviously I'm afraid he has another Lord of Atlantis, which would be game, but he doesn't have one. So he's just swinging me, and then I violently the Jotun Grunt. I ask him okay. I actually realize now there aren't any cards in the game that could let him respond to that. But so both his guys die. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot about this part. So he doesn't kill his Curse Catcher. He turns it into a 1/1. So it's a 1/1 with 1 damage on it, and then I guess he thinks it lives somehow. So I'm just telling him it dies. Okay, so he puts it in his graveyard. Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if yeah, I didn't really remember that, so I assumed he didn't make a huge deal about it. But it kind of makes him seem like a big noob. It's a 1/1 with 1 damage on it. It dies. So I didn't think that was a really, really challenging rules decision. Oh yeah, so I probably should talk about how it was a huge mistake to cast the standstill before combat. Generally it's a mistake to play anything before combat, but in this case it was just a ridiculous mistake. So I'm at 1 life. If the attack goes through, then I die for sure. Why would you cast a standstill before combat? You cast a standstill in response. I sword your guy, whatever. Actually, I don't think I had one attack, but you cast a standstill, and then Um, when I block and wipe your team, now you're left with nothing. Like, there's no way he would possibly cast a standstill against like two Ether Vials, Jotun and Fathom Seer. I mean, he's not that horrible. Uh, see here, I'm asking him okay again. You know, so I ask him okay at like 10:25, and then if you watch the clock, and so he's sitting here, he's like totally comatose. He's not going to stifle it. That would be totally retarded. He would stifle through the standstill. So I wait like 15 seconds, and then I just, vial in the Stoneforge Mystic. Like, I don't know why it took him so long. I'm just asking him, okay, as a formality. There's no way he's going to stifle it, but, just to be polite, I'm asking him okay, and then he kind of, like, throws it back in my face by wasting all my time, but whatever. Um, anyway, so I'm going to cut out the rest of the dead air, the dead air, but I'll win this game. I'll see you for game 2.